Felicity from Get Your Rock Out, here with Eric from Flotsam and Jetsam. How are you today?
I'm doing great, actually.
Wow.
I love being here.
I'm really glad. It's so nice to see somebody who's been on the scene for like such a long time actually get excited about something like
yeah.
this.
Well, we haven't been here in the UK since '87, so...
You know what? That was before I was born. That's
nice.
Unbelievable. Good grief. Wow. And how are you? I mean, how are you finding the kind of response that you've had to saying that you're going to get back here?
It's we knew we'd have some kind of a response just because it's been so long. The thing I really love is all the really young people out there just going Flotsam. I'm just like, really?
Oh, that's great.
So I love that. That's great.
That's fantastic. I'm really, really glad to hear it. And you guys have been such a consistent presence on the scene for so long now. And so many bands kind of, you know, they get 20 years in and they just stop. I mean, what's so different about you guys that you've managed to keep it going?
One of the things, one of my biggest payments about being in this band is all the bands from around the world telling me, you know what, you guys are the reason why I play guitar, you guys are the reason why I sing or why I do this, and that's one of the biggest paybacks you can get in this business. And we get that from a lot of bands, just saying, I grew up listening to you, you're the reason why I do this, and that's better than any paycheck you can get anywhere.
It's incredible. And is it, I mean, I know that, you know, you must be quite used to it by now, but does it still kind of not take you by surprise, but does it still feel special when people do come up to you and claim that, you know, you are their inspiration?
I still feel like people are crazy. I'm
Really?
I'm nobody special. I'm just like, really? You like it? You're kidding me.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's just amazing to me that people can watch us play and sit there through the whole set and get excited and love it. There's very few bands that I can do that for. I love listening to all of them, but there's very few that I will listen to a whole set or a whole record and people just seem to really dig Flotsam, and it kind of psychs me out a little bit.
That's absolutely brilliant. And when it comes to the writing of stuff, do you kind of consciously think about the fans that say this kind of thing when you're writing, or do you completely write for yourselves and not think at all about what people will think?
I write, usually when I write, the music is done, or semi-done, and Michael, my guitar player, will send me some music, or I'll go over to his house and listen to it. And I close my eyes, put the headphones on, and listen to it, and whatever comes in my head, that's what I write about. It really has nothing to do with me or the crowd or trying to sell anything. It really has to do with what the song sounds like to me. So that's really the way I write.
And I think, I mean, it's from everything I've seen, you've got such a strong fan base from absolutely all over the world. And you've recently done the Pledge campaign that was a huge success. And were you expecting the kind of response that you got to that?
No, we were hoping for that kind of response. We've learned in this business not to expect anything.
I think that's probably very wise.
Yeah, because the minute you do, you're going to be let down. So we try to go into everything, songwriting, playing live shows. We try to go into everything with an open mind and like it's our first time doing it. And it seems to work out for us. We get disappointed a lot less, and we get surprised a lot more. So it's kind of our little credo. We don't expect anything.
But no, I think huge congratulations for that, because it was just brilliant, and it was really good to see kind of how keen that so many people were.
Yeah, it was fun, a lot of fun. The crowd was doing that little well of death thing, and I was just like, really? For us? Thanks.
It's just brilliant. And when it comes to new music on the scene, do you tend to listen to kind of up and well, it's not like there's a camera there and like a massive lead. But yeah, when it comes to newer music, do you tend to listen to much, or do you basically kind of stick with the bands that you know?
Normally I stick to the bands I know and love and have been listening to forever. There are some newer bands out there. It's hard to get me to listen to something new, but once we tour with some bands, a lot of times I become a fan of that band. Legion of the Damned, I've never heard of them before. We did tour with them in Sepultura, and I'm kind of a Legion of the Damned fan now. We just toured the States with a couple bands opening up for us, Ex Mortis and Hatchet, and I'm a big fan of both of theirs now. Most of the time, it's really not about just the music. When I meet a band and they're good guys and they're out there struggling hard trying to do it, and they're dealing with all the stuff that we dealt with back in the day, and they still want to go to the next show, that's that integrity means a lot to me, you know, personality. And I've liked a few bands and I meet them and they're big-headed rock stars, and I'm like, okay, that just ruined it for me. I'm never listening to them again, you know.
There's just no need for it. It's, you know, I really don't think there's a need for people to act like twats.
There really isn't. And I've known some bands who started off that way, big-headed rock stars, and now they've learned humility, and I like those bands again. Back in the day, Megadeth started off being one of my favorite bands. We did tours with them, and then I met them later on down the line, and I was like, oh, really? You guys turned into something I don't like. And now they're back to keep finding a little humility, and their songs sound better to me now. And I'm, you know, it's all about personality as well as music. So
I think that's really refreshing. I think too many people kind of see an ego and they're just like, oh, you must be brilliant because you've got an ego, and you're just like, no, they've just got an ego. No. It's like, you know, you see these people kind of swaggering around and thinking they're all that, and people are like, they must be a serious rock star because they're doing that, and you're just like, no, that's not how it works.
No, it doesn't work that way. I've done some festivals with bands that people will be like, oh, are you going to check out so-and-so? And I'm like, I've never heard of them. I guess I'll check them out. And I'll see the singer backstage, and he's strutting around like and I'll go, no. And, you know, now I can't even remember the names of those bands, so.
Well, I'm glad. It's nice to meet somebody with that kind of attitude towards it all. And how long are you over here in the UK for?
We're actually leaving tomorrow. We're going to do another festival day after tomorrow, I think. We'll stop off in Amsterdam for some fun, of course, and then yeah, and then after that we're going home to start writing a new record.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah. That's brilliant. And that, I mean, have you kind of started writing yet, or is it not something that you tend to do on the road?
We've written a little bit. We have some songs that were actually written for Doomsday and No Place that never made it to the record, and we're pulling those out of the vault, and we're going to try to kind of revamp them and see if we can turn them into something cool. So
fantastic. And when are you hoping to get that out?
Hopefully by about March, I'm thinking.
That is very exciting indeed. And like, I'm sure that you've been asked this by everybody today, but have you got any plans to come back to the UK and tour on it?
We don't have plans to, but I have a love to come back to the UK as often as possible.
And so how come it's been so long? Is it just pure logistics?
It's been bad timing and logistics. Every time we've had plans to come over here, we either lose an agent or a manager or a guitar player or a bass player or our minds or something, you know. Yeah. So it's just been a black cloud following us around as far as coming back here. And I think we've gotten all those details taken care of now, so we should be able to come back more often.
Well, I really, really hope that we can see you back here for a full tour. That would be exceptionally exciting indeed. It really would.
It's, you know, this business for me is more fun now than it ever has been, and I'm ready to play anywhere. So.
Incredible. Why is that?
You know, I think back in the day we were so worried about where the next girl was coming from, where the next beer was coming from, where the next party was, and now it's much, much more about the music to us and the fans and that short time on stage we have. That's really the best part of all of it. And it's a completely different look at the industry now for us, and it's more fun than ever.
Really, really good to hear. It's really, you know, it's so nice to see bands that still enjoy it. There are too many out there touring who don't, and it's just such a, you know, it's such a crying shame.
They just have a horrible time, and I can't stand it.
I just don't see how you can physically tour if you hate what you're doing. It's not the kind of thing that's an easy life anyway.
The thing I don't get is the bands that are out on tour for 9 months together, and they can't stand each other, much less the business and their music and the crowds and why are you out here, you know? We did a show last night, some little tiny pub in Germany. We walked in, the stage is this big, you know, and I'm like, this is not going to be good. And they packed the place full of people who were just amazing, loving Flotsam fans who wanted us to play all night. And every song they spit out, we were like, all right, we're playing that one next. They'd spit out another song, all right, we're playing that one next. And we played for probably 2 hours and loved every minute of it. And the crowd loved every minute of it. We hung out and drank beer with everybody afterwards and did all, you know, that's the favorite part for me now.
That's absolutely brilliant. I mean, shows like that, they just make it all completely worthwhile.
Oh, yeah. You have to love it or why do it. Because nobody makes enough money out here for that to be the reason, you know? So.
Yeah. It's true, I really don't understand the motivation, actually, but there are some strange people in the world.
There are some strange people. Some people are very ego-driven, so.
I heard a wonderful story once about a very famous guitar player who shall remain nameless, and he was on stage and he was going through a bad patch at the time, and he got into his taxi at the end of the gig to go to the hotel, and someone climbed into the taxi and he was like, who the fuck are you? What are you doing in my taxi? And he was like, dude, I'm your keyboard player. And he was like, yeah.
Nice.
That was a fun tour to do, I can tell you.
Yeah, I do that all the time, but I actually know who my guitar players are. I just pretend I don't.
Yeah, well, that makes it all right.
Yeah, that makes it okay.
Thank you so much for taking the time to chat. This has been like such a pleasure. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that we're going to see you in the bar at some point later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and hopefully back in the UK in the next year or so.
You'll probably find me laying down under a table somewhere later.
Fantastic. All right. I'll put a pillow under your head, you know,
all
just
right,
so.
Great. All right, just wad a shirt, something under there, so
Fantastic, I can do that.
All right, great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.